Yeah. No, I actually agree with you on that last point. I was going to say it, but you beat me to the punch, which is that I think this is a little bit slept on as a division. Like we know the NFC is not very strong as a whole on the conference basis right now. I don't have it stacked the same way, but I do think when you get to the end of the season, do I think any of these teams are going to be awful? No, I don't. Now that will inevitably prove to be incorrect, but as we stand here in early September, that's what I'm going to say. Here is my order in this particular division, Tim. You're not going to like it much. I have Detroit winning this division. I've decided to just go for it. Like,
okay,
fuck it. Why not? They have to win it at some point, right? So why not now? Like,
no, they don't.
I like the team. They're entertaining. They haven't won the division since it was the NFC Central.
Best points differential in the division last year.
Yeah, they were. You've made your own grave. You've dug your own grave with this, Tim. I have Chicago second as well. I have Chicago as like the surprise package. I feel like there's always one, right? There's always a surprise package in the league.
We both
like,
have Chicago second, blah, blah, blah. So there you go.
We both have Chicago second. Last year it was Seattle, right? Everyone was like, Seattle's going to suck because they got rid of Russell Wilson and they were very good and they made the playoffs. I think the Bears are going to be the surprise package. I'm with you on Justin Fields. I really liked him coming out of Ohio State. People were crapping on him because he was exceptionally up and down last year. I would just say, look at that team around him. They were horrendous. The bigger concern I have with Chicago is actually the defense was awful last year. It was second worst in points per game allowed. That is not good. That does need to get fixed. And listen, I'm not saying they're necessarily going to turn into the 85 Chicago Bears. I think with a defensive-minded head coach, Matt Eberflus, he will get them going a little bit on the defensive side of the ball, enough so that the offensive firepower that they've now acquired, Darnell Mooney, I think, is a good player. Claypool, if he does anything at this point, it's a bonus, but is a third option who can give you points in the paint. I think is not bad. I like Deontay Foreman. I like Khalil Herbert. I love DJ Moore. I think the team's going to take a step forward, so I've got them second. I have the Packers third, and I have Minnesota dead last. Minnesota is on my list is probably top of my backsliding teams. I won't go into the reasons. You've already elaborated on exactly what they are, which is they were incredibly lucky last year. Every ball that could have bounced their way for the entire regular season. They played what I thought was a fairly limited and average Giants team in the playoffs at home, and they lost. And I think that is more the. And I think that's more the Minnesota Vikings than the preceding season, which sounds kind of crazy because of the volume of evidence. But I just feel like there was just so much that went their way last year. I don't buy into it. Justin Jefferson's great. Hawkinson's great. Kirk will put up good numbers. Obviously, they get rid of Dalvin Cook, who was still productive for this team. Madison, we'll see what happens there. Defensively, they've aged a little bit. I think this is a team which is on the down slope as opposed to the upside. I think last year was the acme or the apex or the zenith or whatever fancy word you want to use for the top. And I think they're going to go down, down, down this year and find themselves in the cellar and restarting next year, which will put them in a good position because Cousins is out of contract and he's probably gone. Quick word on the Packers. I actually like the prospects for this team. I actually quite like Jordan Love as a future player for this team. They've got him under contract at a reasonable rate. They're not going to ask him to be Aaron Rodgers. That's the smart thing to do. LaFleur's going to have to alter how they approach things. A bit more Aaron Jones, a lot more A.J. Dillon, who had a pretty down year last year. I actually like the prospects for this team. They're not going to be a playoff team. I think they're going to be a middling team. And I think the Vikings are going to be in the kind of 6-ish wins range. Honestly, I think they're going to actually have quite a poor season. But I have Detroit winning the division because why the hell not? Let's have some fun in the preseason predictions that don't mean anything. But I do like the Lions, and I'm going to go with them. Defense got it together. Offense stays good. Jared Goff, high on the hog in 2023. Let's go Detroit and have some fun with a DFI team for a change.